What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar boxer, who currently is the undisputed super middleweight world champion, coming on the heels of his dominating loss to WBA light heavyweight world champion DMITRY BIVOL, that being none other than Saul Canelo Alvarez, who is the undisputed super middleweight world champion. Canelo Alvarez, for the second time, attempted to go to 175 and become a world champion at 175. He did so in 2019 when he went up to 175 and challenged the WBO light heavyweight world champion, superstar boxer in Sergey Crusher Kovalev, in which he knocked Kovalev out in the 11th round to become the WBO light heavyweight world champion. With that said, Canelo Alvarez attempted so once again against DMITRY BIVOL, who is the undefeated WBA light heavyweight world champion, and Canelo Alvarez came up short is an understatement. Canelo Alvarez got absolutely dominated in this fight. And now Canelo Alvarez, he has confirmed that going up to 175 is just it's too much of a stretch for him. Me personally, I thought that Canelo Alvarez was going to win the fight against DMITRY BIVOL, and then I pegged Canelo Alvarez to actually beat the winner, Joe Smith Jr., Arthur Beterbiev, okay? I thought their styles was tailor-made for Canelo Alvarez. But Canelo Alvarez against DMITRY BIVOL, he won no more than 3 rounds in that fight, okay? He got absolutely dominated against DMITRY BIVOL. And now Canelo Alvarez has confirmed that he is no longer going to campaign or attempt to campaign at 175. There was actually talks of Canelo Alvarez going up to cruiserweight to 190 now is the cruiserweight limit. It has since been changed from 200 to 190 because there's a bridgerweight now at 224, okay? So with that said, Canelo Alvarez, he stated that, going to 175 is not an option anymore, and cruiserweight is definitely out the question. He's going back down. He's going to campaign at 168, the super middleweight division, defend his titles at 168. Now, we know DMITRY BIVOL, Canelo Alvarez, ironically, he stated that he thought he won the fight 7 rounds to 5 or 8 rounds to 4, okay? But going back to 175, he actually thought he won the fight, but going back to 175 is out the question. He said, no mas, no more, okay? He's not going back to 175, and going up to cruiserweight is out the question as well, obviously. If 175 is too much, then 190 is far too much, okay? So with that said, he said they're going to come back down. Now, DMITRY BIVOL, he's confirming that he's willing to go to 168 and give up all his advantages for whatever reason, because you just dominated what was considered the face of the sport of boxing, top 3 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, okay, if not number 1, in Canelo Alvarez. You absolutely dominated him, okay? There was no question if DMITRY BIVOL won this fight, or it wasn't a close fight. Now, I know the judges, on the other hand, saw a closer fight than the rest of the world and the rest of the boxing world, but that's normal, okay? So with that said, why would DMITRY BIVOL attempt to go down to 168 when he's been campaigning at 175 this entire time in his career, okay? Now, he's not considered the biggest light heavyweight, but why would you go down when you have the option in your next fight to fight the winner, Joe Smith, Arthur Beterbiev? Arthur Beterbiev is undefeated, 17 wins, no loss and no draw, 17 wins by way of knockout. Arthur Beterbiev is the WBC IBF light heavyweight world champion, okay? Joe Smith Jr., who you already beat, is the WBO light heavyweight champion. You fight the winner of that fight. They're fighting June 18th. You have the opportunity to become undisputed. But yet and still, he's saying that he's willing to give up his advantage at 175 and give up, the fact that he'll be the A side to go down to 168, okay, to prove what? Other than garnering a big check, okay? Payday, you want payday? I know that, like Canelo Alvarez said. If you already dominate him at 175, what do you get out of dominating him at 168? Now, I know you're going to look to say you could become an undisputed champion at 168, but you're giving up all your advantages. You could fight in your next fight 175, and if you want to go down for a rematch with Canelo after you're undisputed, and then you have 2 undisputed champions facing off against each other, that's more understandable. But for what other than a paycheck and a payday, it makes no sense. But with that said, this caught the eye of ESPN, that Canelo Alvarez has now said that he's going to campaign at 168. It caught the eye of ESPN and one colorful analyst, sports analyst, in Stephen A. Smith, who absolutely went in and he stated that he's glad Canelo Alvarez lost and going to campaign now to 168 because now we can see the fights that he's been avoiding. The fight with undefeated two-division world champion, who's currently the reigning WBC middleweight world champion, superstar boxer Jamal Lions Only Charlo. Jamal Charlo is 32 wins, no loss and no draw, 22 wins by way of knockout. He is 31 years of age as well, 6 feet tall with a 74-inch arm reach. So he's actually the same size with a longer arm reach than DMITRY BIVOL, okay? And two-time WBC super middleweight world champion, Mexican Ecuadorian superstar boxer in David Benavidez, who's undefeated as well. Okay, he is 25 wins, no losses, no draw, 22 wins by way of knockout. He's 6'1" and a half with a 75-inch arm reach. Okay, power is his game and aggression is his game. So this caught the eye that Canelo Alvarez now says he's going to campaign at 168, no mas for 175 and cruiserweight. And that Stephen A. Smith is saying he's happy this happened. There was a little bit of humblingness, right? And now Canelo Alvarez is going to have to face either David Benavidez or DMITRY BIVOL or Jamal Charlo. Listen to what Stephen A. Smith had to say.
I believe that Canelo Alvarez, first of all, I'm happy he lost.
He's happy he's lost. He said, first of all, I'm happy he lost.
World, he got outboxed thoroughly by BIVOL Saturday night.
He said he got outboxed by BIVOL Saturday night, which we already knew.
It's about the fights that we want to see. I think.
So he said it's about the fights we want to see. So now Stephen A. Smith is just happy that, Canelo Alvarez is now going to campaign at 168 and we can get these fights. Listen.
It's a light heavyweight to do this fight, and I don't see him fighting too much in the super middleweight division, but I'm tired of this guy being unblemished in his career, and these big fights Charlo is not getting. He deserves them. He should have them if he.
So he's saying he's tired of Canelo Alvarez cherry picking and and his record unblemished.
Is special, and if there's a person that has earned the right to be in the ring against, I believe that Canelo Alvarez. First of all, I'm happy he lost.
I'm happy he lost. So then he goes on to say about David Benavidez, and David Benavidez is a monster. And he says Jamal Charlo earned the opportunity to fight Canelo Alvarez. Now, I will say this when it comes to Jamal Charlo, he's only fought 2 world champions and beat 2 world champions by the time he fought them. So by the time he fought world champions and beat them, there's only 2, Cornelius K9 Bundridge and Austin Trout. Okay, the other champion he beat became a champion years after he beat him, and that's Julian J. Rock Williams. So in total, he's fought 3 world champions and beat 3 world champions. Okay, I don't know if that garners him an opportunity to fight Canelo Alvarez. Okay, and David Benavidez is just looking to fight anybody to give him an opportunity. David Benavidez is more than willing to fight whomever is available. And if David Benavidez, he already stated, if I got to go the route of fighting Jamal Charlo, Demetrius Andrade, and all these guys to get the respect and garner me to fight Canelo Alvarez, then that's just the route I'll take. Okay, so I like that talk. So Stephen A. Smith, this caught the eye of ESPN, like I said, that Canelo Alvarez is now saying he's going to campaign at super middleweight. And then at the same time, you can see Stephen A. Smith's limited knowledge of the sport of boxing outside of being a casual fan of the sport of boxing. Now, he's a longtime casual fan, but that's what he is, okay? When he says, I don't see how much longer I don't see him campaigning at super middleweight. Well, that is the 168-pound division, Stephen A. Smith, the super middleweight division, okay? 175 is light heavyweight. He said he don't see him staying at light heavyweight and super middleweight much longer. Well, him saying that he's going to campaign at 168, that's the super middleweight division. He's not going down to 160, okay? And he's definitely not going above 175, okay? Then it goes on to say he don't know if Jamal Charlo may be too small for Canelo Alvarez. Again, like I just reiterated, Jamal Charlo is 6 feet tall. His well-renowned Hall of Fame trainer Ronnie Shields has stated on numerous occasions that Jamal Charlo can easily make 168. He's a big 160-pounder to begin with, 6 feet tall with a 74-inch arm reach. He's the same size with a longer arm reach than DMITRY BIVOL, okay? And David Benavidez is actually bigger than Jamal Charlo. So with that said, these are fights to be made. These are huge fights. I can't wait to see how they unfold and play out. I love these fights. I think that, this is an opportunity of a lifetime for whoever gets the fight next, whether that be Jamal Charlo or David Benavidez. And the reason I say that is because, people have already have a built-in excuse that the reason Canelo Alvarez lost in the first place to DMITRY BIVOL is because of the size disadvantage. They're dismissing the skill set. It was the skill set of DMITRY BIVOL that offset, Canelo Alvarez. It was his boxing ability, his jab, his combination punches, his ring IQ, his ability to understand, that, you can't just lay on the ropes and allow Canelo Alvarez to tee off on you. So that's the reason in a nutshell as to why he lost. He pivoted Canelo Alvarez. He turned Canelo Alvarez. He used his jab. He used his arm reach. Okay. He used combination punches. He mixed it up. He didn't just lay on the ropes and allow Canelo Alvarez to tee off on him. He understood what Canelo Alvarez wanted to do. So now that is already a built-in excuse, it'll be dismissed when Jamal Charlo or David Benavidez fights him at 168. Okay. Because now everybody said, well, they just chalk it up. He was too big. He dared to be great. As you see many people saying, he's already won a world title at 175. He loses at 175 and we tell him he's there to be great. Okay. He's a big guy. Okay. He's short in stature, but he's very well rounded. Okay. So at the end of the day, it was skills that paid the bills, not physical size and strength as many people would lead you to believe. Okay. And so the fact that they'll dismiss that loss, okay, because it was a size disadvantage, you'll get all the credit if you're David Benavidez or Jamal Charlo for beating Canelo Alvarez should you beat him at super middleweight. So let's see how this all unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue. Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notification. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all in one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.